Welcome to Back of the Rack, the Koei cast special. A gaming video cast about games long neglected and not respected. Games that everyone heard of or hated, or no one heard of and loved. We play the games in between the essentials and the unwanted, but mostly we play what we want on this podcast.
You can watch us on YouTube, which we consider to be the optimal way to experience our content, or listen to us in podcast form wherever podcasts are available. Make sure to like and comment on our videos and leave good reviews for podcast feeds. It helps us out and is the fuel that keeps us going. We hope everyone watching and listening is doing great, and we thank you for joining us today. I'm Ben Dez. With me, as always, is Sandy, and we have a very special guest, Chris Gildart of YouTube fame, of Warriors YouTube fame. So I'll start with you, Chris. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing great, provided, all the shit that's been going down with my own work life, but,
Why don't you tell people what exactly you do, and maybe what happened more recently with your...
Sure thing. So, my name is Chris Gildart. I'm a Canadian YouTuber who talks very much about the Warriors franchise and Koei Tecmo. I'm a pretty big game collector, but most of my content is reviewing and discussing video games, whether it's reviewing a brand new game, reviewing an older release, or talking about some of the finer details that nobody talks about.
Fun fact, I didn't even know he was Canadian until we started doing this podcast. That's the craziest part. I was like...
Didn't you say it on the Discord that you were from Canada?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Sonny, you're not reading. Oh my.
No, but like when he was like, what was what was it? I don't want to dox you, but when he said where you live, I was like, what the hell is that? I was like, oh, it's not American. That's why. I don't know.
Yeah. Maple syrup flows through these veins.
So I'm expecting about like 3 aboots.
Yeah, we're expecting some A's. Yeah.
A couple of sorries.
I've never heard the sorries before.
Sorry there, bud.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I was like, I thought you said sorry like a query. Like I thought that was how you were saying it.
All right, and Sandy, how are you doing?
I got my computer back, so clap it up. Excellent. To that. We're good on that. That's finally fixed. Now's the hard part, getting a car, but.
Yeah, that's true. You
did crash that.
Well, you don't commute to work because you work at home.
Oh,
right?
No, yeah, I work here, so it's kind of easy for me. I don't really have to go nowhere, so it's not like pressing to me to get a car, but it's kind of like I kind of want a car. Like for today, where I could have like did my monthly trip to the local game store and like find some bullshit to play and be like, that's back of the rack, but it's kind of put a damper in my stuff.
Yeah. So last night I was driving home and my tire has been like shitty for a while, and I know I've needed to get it replaced, but I was like, I just don't have the time playing too many Warriors games. So I'm driving and I hit a pothole and the tire just destroyed. So like on my way home last night, I'm just like riding on a destroyed tire. So I had to like pull over. And it was so cold last night. I mean, it probably gets colder where you guys are. I'm not used to the cold. I'm in Arizona and it's warm typically, but it was like really windy and it was like 38 degrees outside, and I'm just like, and like you need a flashlight to see. It's dark. I couldn't see anything. The coyotes were surrounding me. They thought I was lunch. Like it was terrifying. But ultimately, I'm here. I got the tire changed, and we're all set. I mean, I'm good. I feel like nothing new has happened since last time.
Every time I imagine you, bro. Every time you mention a story, I just imagine Courage the Cowardly Dog in general. Like your car is Eustace's car.
It's not that. It's
oh my god.
Tucson is like the second most, is the second biggest city. So it's not anything like you're describing. I have been to places that are in Arizona, so I know what you mean.
I asked you today, I was like, name a rapper that came out of Tuscan. And he was like, none.
No. It doesn't work like that here.
So like, I mean, ain't nobody there but you.
But Chris could say that Drake came out of Canada.
Yeah.
So,
he's got Justin Bieber too.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. The Weeknd. He's got a couple. Yeah, he's got a couple.
What part of Canada?
So I'm in Prince Edward Island, like the smallest province in Canada. But I've lived in all over the place. Like I lived in Halifax, which is on the east coast, almost like very close to Prince Edward Island. I lived in Victoria, BC, which is on the other side of the country. So yeah, I've been kind of everywhere.
Wow, okay. And you're the same time zone as Sandy, so you guys must be both on the northeast.
Yeah.
Or actually, no, well, yeah, kind of. Because you're in Maryland, that's like more north. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw our award show, but we don't know geography. This isn't a geography podcast. We're not here to talk about that kind of stuff because we don't know. It's not our expertise. But what we are here to talk about is Warriors Orochi. Cue the trailer. So Warriors Orochi, what I know we all sort of have like a love for the franchise, and we chose Warriors Orochi primarily because we felt it was the least loved, maybe because it's the first one, but yeah, Chris, what got you into the Warriors game?
So back when I was living in Victoria, there was a local pawn shop that I would go to like almost every second weekend, bring down like a couple of my games. The owner of the shop was a family friend, so he would literally just let me straight trade games. Like he wouldn't be like, okay, I'm going to give you $5 for that one. Go pick a $25 game now. He would be like, oh, that's a PS1 game, just pick another PS1 game. Oh, that's a PS2 game, just pick another one. And
equal value, right?
Exactly. So one of the games that I picked up one day was Dynasty Warriors 3 Extreme Legends, and brought that home, threw it in, got my ass handed to me by Lubu, and shelved it instantly.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. Yeah, I didn't think.
So I didn't actually play it again until a friend had come over and we were looking through the game collection, being like, oh, what are some 2-player games that we could try? And I was like, oh, well, I tried this one and it was kind of hard. Do you want to try it? And then we were like, oh, let's take a look at the options first. And then we were like, oh, wait, we can turn this to easy.
Yeah.
We were playing on nightmare mode this whole time. No wonder why.
Defaults to nightmare.
So, yeah, we threw it on easy. We played it together, and like literally the rest is history. From there, I've pretty much played every single Warriors game as they've come out. There was a PlayStation demo disc in one of the magazines that had the demo for Dynasty Warriors 4. So before that even came out, like I played that over and over and over again, like the same, I think 2 stages, 3 characters, just playing it over and over until the full game finally came out. From there, I played Samurai Warriors 1. I went back to Dynasty Warriors 2, which I picked up later down the road. Yeah, and pretty much mostly played every single Warriors game on release. I think the only ones that I didn't play on release were Dynasty Warriors 7 Extreme Legends, because at the time I only had a 360, as well as Warriors Legends of Troy, which, fun fact, was developed in Canada.
Yeah.
The OG
Koei Canada. Koei Canada.
That's the one we really should have covered on this episode. Legends of Troy.
We can always do that one in the future.
Come back.
But wait, when did you first play Warriors Orochi?
So that was on launch. I played it on PS2, and then later on down the road, I got the 360. So I got the 360 version, and down the road from that, I got a PSP, so I got the PSP version. So the only version I have yet to play is the PC port, which I believe was only released physically in the UK.
Huh.
I forgot that
I didn't
existed.
realize there was a PC port.
Because there was a PC port of Samurai Warriors 1, I want to say.
2.
Or 2, there we go. I just remember playing it somehow, and I don't know how I played it. And I thought to myself, like, wow, this is really ugly playing with the keyboard and mouse. Like,
yeah, it seems a little unintuitive for a beat 'em up to play with like a keyboard and mouse, but some people are used to it. Yeah, what's funny is the way you got into Warriors, because I remember growing up, there was people who were really fans of the Warriors games, and I wasn't one of them growing up. It was, I want to say maybe like middle school. I had this friend who I would just go over to his house, and he'd just be getting down on Warriors like all the time, like grinding, like trying to get the weapons and shit. And I never really, I'm like, what? And that was around the time I got into like Mystic Heroes, and I realized like, oh, these are the kind of the same game, but he's playing like the more adult version in my mind, because like the Mystic Heroes looks like baby's first Dynasty Warriors, even though it's a digital game. But yeah, and I don't know, Sonny, do you have any interesting things about your infatuation of
I'm gonna be different
the Warriors game?
I actually started with Samurai Warriors 2, and that was my first Warriors game. I was over a friend's house, and he had it on 360, and that's the first time I played it. And I was like, I want to say I vividly remember playing with Sakon Shima, and I was like, yeah, bro, big ass sword. This is fun. Yeah. And we just play co-op like nonstop while listening to Jamaican music, because that's back in the day when you could like burn CDs and stuff to the 360. Yeah. And he would just, his brother would be like, you got to blast my songs if you play my 360. And that's all I can remember about that until I think I like kind of passively played them. I was just like, oh yeah, okay, cool. And it wasn't until Dynasty Warriors 7 came out, because I remember that was 8th grade. Oh Lord, I'm gonna make you guys sound old. And it was 8th grade.
Jesus.
And I remember I like was in computer lab, and I was like, yo, they're making Dynasty Warriors 7. And one of my friends, like best friends to this day still, he was like, you're into those games too? And it just made us actual best friends after that. And we both that was what we did.
They didn't click for me when I was like younger. I didn't quite get them. I was like, them. What? I don't. But no, like, and I loved do you remember Lord of the Rings: Return of the King? Like, that was my shit when I was, and it's a beat 'em up, it's a bunch of enemies, and it's far more linear, but.
Yeah, it's like Lord of the Rings Conquest, where it's like Star Wars Battlefront / Dynasty Warriors Lord of the Rings style. It's the same situation.
Warriors Orochi, I don't think I had any experience playing it when I was younger. That was a game, I think the first Warriors Orochi I played was actually 3 on the PS3, and that was like when it came out. I think it was digital only on the PS3.
Yeah.
So I had like the digital version of that.
That was back in the day when Sony was like, oh, if it has Japanese voices, it's not getting a physical release in North America, but you can still get a physical in Europe.
Huh. Yeah, I didn't even know that Europe had. Yeah, that's crazy. I think that was like my main introduction into like, oh, wait, these are all characters from like the same, or I guess different franchises, but under the same umbrella of Koei. I think Warriors Orochi 3 is like the beloved one, right, Chris? Or is that?
Well, 3 Ultimate is probably more so the beloved one. because it has all of the additional content as well. But yeah, definitely 3 in general is held in a higher regard than the rest of the series. Probably 2 would be the next one.
Oh, okay.
I want to say I've only ever played Warriors Orochi 1 on PSP. That's where I started playing it. And that was around the time where I realized the same thing. Because I was like, Warriors, they play the same. Okay, yeah, these are probably the same. And I was like, oh, this is cool. But I don't think I've played 2. I did play 3 Ultimate on Wii U. So that should tell you enough right there. And 4 I played on PC, and I think that's one of the very first PC ports where it's not like, oh hey, your X button is your R2 button and your left stick is your right stick. Like, for some reason, Warriors games on PC are like, until recently, they've been like super jank when it comes to controls. Like, I've had to literally configure the Steam controller to like work everything back into normal, because they're not like button prompts. It's just like button 1, press button 3.
Yeah,
but button 3 is select, and you're like, what is going on?
Now, just like a quick aside, for PC games, is that, I don't have I guess much experience with PC games, but is that usually the case, right? Where it just says button 1 and it's like whatever assigned button. Like, I've always wondered that with like,
I think retro PC games were like that, but modern games, they have the Xbox layout. So like, even if you're using a PlayStation controller, it'll still say press A to accept and press B to cancel.
Oh,
yeah,
that'd be so confusing.
But the 360 is kind of sort of like that's like the go-to, like, just get a wired 360 remote, plug it into your computer. So like, everything kind of works for like a 360 wired remote. But then like I plugged in a PlayStation 5 remote, and like, there's certain things on there where it kind of still acts a little janky, like with the touchpad and stuff like that. But I mean, they've gotten a lot better. But if you play an old game, like, don't expect to get on PC and play like One Piece Pirate Warriors 2 or something like that, and you're not going to have a good time.
Yeah. I think the issue is with Pirate Warriors 3. It doesn't recognize the controller properly because it's the PS4 version that they took and put onto Steam, and the data that the controller provides to the game is different between PlayStation and Xbox. So when you hook up an Xbox controller, it doesn't recognize like half of the buttons.
That makes a lot more sense now. And like, the grand scheme of like, that's all the PC ports, every time I play it, I'm like, yo, every time we're going to do this, man. In every
so
game,
you almost have to like hook up a PlayStation controller the proper way that it emits the correct data so that you can have the full controller layout.
That's so ugly. I hate Omega Force. I hate Koei so much, man.
Koei cast.
Well, that was actually published by Bandai Namco. So we can lay the blame on them.
We can blame them. Still can't blame them for Dynasty Warriors 9. Still can't get over that. Still unplayable on PC.
So let's kind of just go around and we'll give our try and give like a quick overview of how you felt about the game overall, like a quick little like, well, it's this or that, and then we can go into the details of each of everything. So, Sam, do you want to go first with what your thoughts were?
I hate to say it.
This nigga didn't like it. He's like, the worst one.
I hate to say it, but I'm trying to destroy my recency bias. Like, we were talking about this in State of Emergency and with Chorokyu as well, where it's kind of like we keep like playing new games or old games and then trying to like piecemeal them into new games where it's like, well, we also have 20 years of game development and improvement and innovation that we can go off. We're gonna be like, why didn't they just do this? This 20 years ago, they didn't know how to do that. So, and I know because I've played 3 and 4 that it's gonna get better. But like, it's so hard for me to go back to like doing combos like a square triangle, and it does not like destroy the entire field. Like, it just scares me a little bit. It's like, oh, they have normal attacks. Yeah. They're not summoning giant arrow swarms and icicles everywhere. They're just normal guys. Like,
the normal people.
Yeah, like I just beat Wu's story before the podcast, and I was thinking about it because I think I played with Lu Ming, Sun Se, and Zhao Yun, and I was like, yo, this is kind of ugly. Like, Lu Ming's 5th string is better than his 3rd string, but they both do a large, like, I don't know. For me, that was where I was like, yo, and I don't want to get myself jaded on that. So that's why I'm like, I'm coming in here with a grain of salt. It was very, for the time, taking myself back to when I was playing on PSP. This was a great game. I love the magic system, or the technique and speed and strength system. Like, I love that they gave me Genchio immediately, because that's my favorite Warriors character out of every game, out of every franchise. Ooh. I love her moveset. I love her strings because it's different, where it's like, instead of just keeping your standard 4 or 5 and like making them longer, it's like one long combo, and like they each have one. I like that. So I give them that. I like the game. I want to hear more about you guys, because I'll piggyback off you guys.
Okay.
Without being a pessimist.
Chris, what's your over?
Well, at like back when it first came out, I absolutely loved it, because playing the games since like 2003, experiencing 3 new Dynasty Warriors, 2 new Samurai Warriors, then both of them coming together with some extra characters and content, going into a stage and seeing 2 stages that I had once played in Dynasty Warriors 5 or Samurai Warriors 2 were now mixed into one stage, with like cracks in the ground that you could see the separation. Like you could see Samurai Warriors castle in the distance, but you were fighting on the battlefield of like a Dynasty Warriors stage. That to me was pretty dang cool. On top of that, when I finally upgraded from PS2 to 360, getting that widescreen HD experience, that to me was really cool. Being able to take 3 characters into one stage was also really cool, because I have ADHD. I can't focus on one thing doing the exact same thing over and over again. So grinding with the character switching was like perfect for me. Also, a random button to select your character.
Perfect.
That needs to be in more Warriors games.
That was me every time. I was like, just hit random, see who I get.
But yeah, like, the thing is, I keep saying, for the time, like, now when I'm going back to it, like you say, the graphics are dated. The biggest piss off for me is you're stuck with inverted camera control. And that gets me every single fucking time. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear on this podcast.
Oh, no,
but
go ahead. We say the N-word like 70 times. It's all okay.
So, like, yeah, it really pisses me off. So, like, I can't go back and play that. I can't go back and play the first Dynasty Warriors Gundam. I can't go back and play Mario Sunshine on GameCube. I have to play the 3D All-Stars on Switch, because inverted camera control, it always fucks with me every single time. So
that's actually scaring me now. I was actually about to put in Sunshine. I was like, let me actually play a Mario game. Let me not be a Sonic fan, but you just scared me with inverted controls. Now I'm like, I don't know about that.
Either play it on emulation so you can swap the controls, or play it on Switch. Switch has normal camera controls.
The normal controls. I'm not a plane. I don't need to turn up.
Well, I think, Chris, you bring up some good points that kind of make me think a bit more contextually about when this game came out. Because, like, yeah, it's sort of like the Avengers of the Dynasty Warriors. Like, everything you were describing is like the MCU. Like, oh, I recognize this, and there's callbacks, and there's, all these characters get to meet, and there's, like, stories, And then if you're playing, like, 5 and under, and Samurai Warriors 2 and all that, jumping to this game and being able to control 3 characters... Like, that's exciting. I mean, there's so many characters. I've always thought too, like when you're selecting a character, I'm like, but I kind of want to play as this character, but I have to play 20 minutes on this map with this person, which is fine. But that'd be cool if I could just switch between people on the battlefield. So yeah, like I think that being implemented in this first Warriors Orochi was like super. I was like, this is great, you know. But granted that this wasn't my first Warriors Orochi, 3 was. I kind of already like, okay, like I see that they didn't really evolve this system, but it still in the past would have been like a cool like experience to jump from single player characters to being able to control multiple characters. I think the game is a bit low on content, I want to say. I feel like we're spoiled with things, you know, with like Warriors games have something else to do usually. But like you just beat those stories and it's like, well, that's it.
Yeah.
I just replay these.
I think the only other thing that you can do, and I forget how you do it, but I don't think you unlock Orochi just by beating the stories. You unlock Daji, but you don't unlock Orochi. I think there's something special that you need to do. But then once you unlock Orochi, you're done. Like
that's it. That's a game.
There's a lot of, and we'll get into it, but there's a lot of characters that are locked behind certain things that you have to do, and I didn't like that. But at the same time, it's like if I'm making a game and I'm like, well, let's kind of make it. Let's give the people something to work towards, you know.
Yeah.
So you don't want to just give it to them all the time. So
the key thing is like other than Orochi, there's no end game content.
Right.
Like there's no secret weapons. The 4th weapons are all unlocked just by playing on a harder difficulty. Just you get them by random. So there's nothing that you can necessarily work towards except for one character. And then once you unlock them, like there's no purpose for you to then go and max them out with the exception of watching the numbers go up.
Right.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to say as well too. Like thinking of like when I was playing, like I kept like swapping characters just to get the skills just so I can max out like there's ability acquisition and then would swap back out to a brand new character. And I would always feel like, man, but I don't like this character's moveset, but I need to complete this challenge so I can get Cavalier +1. Like that was another part for me where I was like, I don't really like this.
Plus, see, I enjoyed that because, like, again, ADHD brain, just like give me something new to play with.
Yeah, I can't agree with that. I guess I kept picking the wrong characters. Let's go with that.
So this game was released in September of 2007 on the 18th. Which is 2007. How many years ago is that now? Someone do the math quickly.
That's 12 years ago. No, is that 15 years
14.
ago?
Almost 13, 14 years ago.
Yeah, you're right, because I was 10 years old in 2007. Oh, God.
God, you're making me feel old.
Wait, Chris, how old are you?
I am 31. Okay,
I'm 30. Sandy's the baby.
You're just the baby. I'm just a baby.
All right. Just cradle you. That's all right.
Yeah, man. This is obviously.
All right.
I am more mature than my peers. Let's go with that.
That's what we'll go with. So this game was directed by Minoru Honda, which was a designer, a longtime designer of all the other Warriors games. Not like a lead designer, but I was looking at some of the other directors for the other Orochi's games, and they just like, it seems like they were at random. Like, the janitor, come over here, you direct now. Or like the programmer, like it's just it feels random. And I was actually looking into a little bit of like Koei and like where the name came from, you know, Koei Tecmo and all that. Which I won't. Chris, I don't know how much you know about like that aspect of like.
A little bit. I could be thinking of a completely different company too, because like, yeah, I love Koei, but like I just like games in general. So, you know, I've heard so many different stories of different companies, so my brain has kind of intertwined them a little bit.
So, Shigeki Kamiya came in.
Koei Tecmo seems like one of those companies where it's like they don't want to give the talent that's in the company any specific shine. It's like, no, Koei did this, not Director X or Director Y. So I don't know. That's just kind of interesting to me. But also, the director of this game was a designer on Dynasty Warriors 6, the lead designer. And it just makes me think, I'm like, I wonder if he got a little too, he was like, hey, I did Warriors Orochi. I'm jumping into 6. We're going to do this whole Renbu system.
He probably saw Sun Quan. He probably saw Sun Quan's moveset and said, no, get it all. Get it all out of here. We got to do everything over again. We can't have 17 people with swords.
Yeah, seriously. The character designer I have is Masami Kageu, who's been the character designer for all of the Warriors games, including the Samurai games. And I feel like this game has a very distinct look, but we'll get into that. I also read that this Warriors game was supposed to be like the ending. I don't know, Chris, like, do you have any more info on that? Like what?
Yeah, so like since I was following everything Warriors since 3, like I would like read magazine articles and interviews and stuff. So like Warriors Orochi was supposed to be a send-off letter to the previous generation because they were like, this is kind of where Dynasty Warriors got started. You know, it's nostalgic for us. So Warriors Orochi is only going to be released on PS2. It's going to be the last Warriors game on the PS2, and it's going to be a goodbye to that generation. Then they put it out on 360 and PSP, and then they put out Dynasty Warriors 6 on PS2, so it wasn't the last Warriors game.
Yeah, they're like, that money. That's too
good,
good,
man.
That's so funny.
Let's drop the Gundam games too. Let's just drop them all.
Yeah, Gundam 1 and 2 were on PS2.
I'm trying to think. There's another one on there. Another spin-off.
I didn't know Dynasty Warriors 6 was on PS2. I saw a copy
it's the
of
better
it.
version too.
It has more content than the 360 or the PS3.
I would have picked it up. I was like, oh, that must be ass. I walked away. It was like $10. What the fuck? Thanks, guys.
Yeah, you know how like for every dynasty, it's just like 4 characters in the leader that get a story. They added 2 new stories per dynasty. So for Shu, it was Ma Chao and Yue Ying. For Wei, it was Cao Pi and Zheng He. For Wu, it was Ling Tong and Tai Shi. And they all got their own unique weapons. They were decloned from the original release on PS3 and 360.
Yeah, so you gave him back his clubs. I do vividly remember that.
Yeah, Zheng He got his claws back.
And I think they brought back the old characters too, right? Like the ones that they cut. There was like 2 or 3 that they cut. Or was that?
That was in Empires. They brought back Meng Huo.
Yeah, because Jiang Wei was cut, right? Or am I just tripping? Yeah,
and he was never brought back. I mean, he was brought back for Strike Force 2, which also didn't get released in
America
anywhere in the West.
I love that game. I wish I would. I used to watch gameplay videos of Strike Force 2, like, oh man, this is what I want, man. This is so good.
I imported it.
Man, that's what I think when I first got a PS3. I think I turned my console to the Japanese like settings, and I was like, I'm gonna make a whole new account and everything just for this game. And then I realized, how am I gonna add money? Let's revert back.
You have to go through like a proxy site and buy PlayStation Store cards using your American dollars to buy yen, and it gets
16-year-old me
way
was
too
like,
fucking complicated. I almost did that with Monster Rancher 1 and 2 when it was coming to Switch, and I was like, it's too much work. And then Koei America was like, hey, it's coming out here. And I was like, cool. Review code, please.
Sweet. Yeah, so this game actually uses the Samurai Warriors 2 engine, which I kind of thought it would. So that makes me think, like, what engine does a Dynasty Warriors 5? I mean, the engines all seem so similar, so I'm just like,
Yeah, I think the biggest difference, like, if you go and play Dynasty Warriors 5 and Samurai Warriors 2 on PS2, they're going to look very similar. It's when you bring it over to 360 that it's more like the lighting is different. The lighting, the shading, and all that stuff is different between the two. And I don't know. I actually personally prefer the way that Dynasty Warriors 5 looked on 360 compared to Samurai Warriors 2.
I can agree
as
with
far
that.
as like the lighting goes.
Dynasty Warriors 5 Empires looks remarkably better than Samurai Warriors 2 Empires on 360. I do remember that. Like the way that the stages and everything looked, like the shadows of it all was better. Like Samurai Warriors 2 was very static. Like it looked good because it was a 360 game compared to PlayStation 2. You're like, wow. But I do remember picking up Dynasty Warriors 5 like towards the end of the 360 PS3 life cycle and being like, oh yeah, this looks good.
Yeah. Also, another reason why I'm fucking salty about Dynasty Warriors 5 getting a Japanese exclusive release on 360.
I actually never knew that. That's
watching your video on.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. And the 360 is region locked. So in order for me to play it, I would need to import the game, but also import a console.
At that point, you might as well just import that. Just Koei, come to America. Just start working here at this point.
So we typically try to or at least with season 2 of Back of the Rack, we've been trying to sort of make a central question to build what we're talking about around, just to keep it focused and to keep it on theme. But it's going to be different for this episode because I put several questions and we can talk about them. I have questions for you, which I'll ask later, and then I have questions for all of us to sort of chime in. But before that, I want to just kind of go through the thought table that we have, and we'll just, kind of just go through each section, which should be pretty fast because we've already touched on some of the stuff. But Sandy, do you want to go first with your thoughts on presentation?
Yeah, I thought that this might be cooler in hindsight. But seeing there was one stage on Wu's story where you fight the entire kingdom of Jin, and it is so cool to me seeing characters that I know will become future unique characters, seeing Kiyomasa or seeing the other Guan siblings in battle, and you're like, oh yeah, look, that's that guy. But then you're like, he's a generic officer. That's so cute. And for me, what I like most about the cutscenes and everything, I like the way that I don't like the way the story was presented, but I did like the in-game cutscenes. The in-between cutscenes, I didn't really like. But once you get into battle, seeing the mocapping and the motion. Did I just say the same thing twice? The facial mocapping and the body mocapping of everything. I thought that was really cool. The way that it felt more alive than usual in a Warriors game, especially seeing all the characters bounce off each other. Because seeing characters like Kunoichi working with Wu, or seeing Sao P grab other characters and his relationship with them, I thought that was really interesting, seeing the dynamic, and especially because both games, they are the same but very tonally different in terms of character design and stuff like that. Seeing that Yoshimazu's big ass hammer compared to Zhao Yun's ultra realistic I'm just gonna have a spear, guys.
Man, I do need to say Zhao Pi and I think it was Mitsunari Ishida, those two working together.
Yes.
They're on Daji's side, but not actually. And they're trying to break up her army from the inside, while making everybody else think, no, they're actually fighting for Daji. So nobody gets on their trail. That was cool.
Yeah, and their little banter back and forth where they're actually, you're going to betray Orochi. No, you're going to betray Orochi.
Chris, what did you think about the presentation?
Like I said earlier, for the time, the graphics were amazing. Especially when you go to the 360, having those dynamic shadows, the lighting. I remember running around and seeing armor and water shining and being like, oh my god, it's the next generation. The character models are essentially just ripped from Dynasty Warriors 5 and Samurai Warriors 2, so there's nothing new as far as looks go. The only thing that's necessarily new is the alternate color outfit is different from what you would have had in Samurai Warriors 2 Empires or Samurai Warriors 2 Extreme Legends and Dynasty Warriors 5. It's just a different color. Again, I love the way that they mixed the stages. I think if I remember correctly, Sekigahara was mixed with Bujang Plains. The two like end of the era battles were mixed together. So like just seeing those two combined were just my nostalgia fucking just.
I got your syrup blood boiling.
Yeah.
So, what sucks is that they didn't, it's just alternate color palettes. Why? I don't understand why they couldn't include all the costumes from each. Like, it's just so weird to me, considering they ripped the models from the last, Warriors game. I'm like, why is it just?
That's a big thing with me. I'm a big advocate for alternate outfits. That's one of the driving things for me to have like time grinding. Because I'll switch the costume every single time I pick the character. Be like, oh, I was using his Dynasty Warriors 4 outfit last time. I'll use the Dynasty Warriors 5 outfit this time. Yeah, it's just the Dynasty Warriors 5 and Samurai Warriors 2 outfits and an alternate color. That's all you get. Like, you don't even get the Dynasty Warriors 4 or Samurai Warriors 1. Orochi 2 did that. They gave you the Dynasty Warriors 4 and Samurai Warriors 1 outfits. And then they released Musou Orochi Z on PS3, which is Warriors Orochi 1 and 2 on the same disc. And you get another alternate outfit. This time for the Samurai Warriors characters, you get the alternate Samurai Warriors 1 outfit. So like Yukimura with his classic samurai outfit with the antlers on his helmet, Nobunaga with his kimono on, Keiji bald with the priest outfit. And for Dynasty Warriors characters, you actually get the Dynasty Warriors 6 outfit.
Warriors 5 movesets. That's actually pretty cool. I always saw Z, but I was always like, whatever.
I've never seen Z.
It's Japanese only.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like browsing through like the Koei wiki, like if like that was like my thing back in the day when you were like when a new game was coming out, going through the Koei wiki to be like, what's the new character? What's their new moveset? What's their move? And I would just see the alternate. I always would see Bushu's like Z, and I would be like, whatever. But never good.
Also, personally, the optimal way to play the first game content, because not only do you get different outfits or like extra outfits compared to what we got, there's also normal camera control.
Yeah, instead of L1 every 3 seconds.
Okay, so this is actually interesting for older games. Or especially like the, because I want to say even Warriors Orochi 3, like I've just been so accustomed to tapping. I'm constantly tapping.
Oh yeah, I still do it.
What is it, L1?
Yeah.
So like it's rare that I like it's super annoying for sure, the inverted, but it was kind of rare that I had to use it.
I like to use it, and like right now I'm trying to play Dynasty Warriors 4 Hyper on PC because I just got it and I want to do a video talking about it. And I'll find myself every now and then go to move the right stick and it does nothing. I just have to like set the controller down and like,
what's going on?
Oh god, yeah. So I guess I'll share my thoughts on presentation. So it's sort of, because this game is essentially built off the back of other games, it's hard to give this game so much praise for its presentation, because it's built off of 5 and SW2 and stuff. So it's like, well, you're not really your own thing, you're just these other games. So, but I mean, that being said, like the character models and everything, I feel like are detailed and they looked good. And the stages, thematically, like you were saying, Chris, of having like those end of an era, battles being mixed and stuff, is really cool and very thoughtful for sure. I really liked that opening cinematic. I did not skip that opening cinematic a single time because I thought it was so cool.
The boat fight is the coolest thing, bro. It's the coolest thing since Dynasty Warriors 7 with the like jumping down from the temple, saving baby Leon and Chi.
Yeah, they're really interesting, but this one was just like, it was goofy, because it has that one part in the beginning where it's different layers. and it like spreads out kind of, and it's like, oh, it's like
almost like a pop out picture book or something.
Yes. So there's like elements with that are really just silly, but they still look good. I mean, I thought the overall game still held up visually in terms of like when it came out, 2007. Masami Kagayu's his designs of like all the characters, they're just really, there's like a groundedness that he brings to each character that feels so historically accurate but also fantastic, you know?
Yeah.
The one time I did use the camera to like turn around was to like look at their outfits, because I'm like, damn, this is so cool. Like, it looks like it would be an outfit in, you know, feudal Japan or in the Three Kingdoms era or whatever. It just
Stop
looks
lying.
really cool.
You know Yoshi.
What?
You think Yoshimazu was walking around with them big ass blocks on his
Well, that's what I said. Like, it's a good blend of like fantasy and like based in reality, you know. I mean, some of them like what's her name? Tachibana Ginchoyo?
Ginchio?
Right?
Yeah.
Ginchio.
Yeah, she like that she looks like a Power Ranger.
Oh Lord,
wait. Nearly, you know.
Almost like a samurai Power Ranger, yeah.
Yeah.
And her husband is worse. And
oh yeah, he's with the laser and all.
Just use a sword and shield. Or Japan.
Yeah. They take some liberties, as they should. It's, you know, it's not a game that's trying to be like, oh, like super realistic. Although I think these games are more grounded than the games in the later entries.
I was going to say that this game I felt like could be the turning point of when Warriors games were like, let's stop being realistic. Come on, let's just.
Yeah, 6 was like the.
Yeah. 6 was like, hey, have you heard of this thing called anime?
Yeah. Because like there's certain characters' abilities, like Genchio, she literally jumps and does like a giant like lightning bolt, or Zhao Yun doing like, he just shoots fireball. He just goes, there you go. Or there's another character, I can't remember who it is. And it's
Daji is herself like a fantastic.
Oh yeah, and Orochi
character.
Was it Warriors Orochi 3 or was it 2 when you fight like the giant Hydra Orochi?
That was 3.
That was 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you had to summon the Yeah. See,
I fucking hated that map. Oh, I actually wanted to ask you guys about just like, speaking of presentation, do you guys struggle with the way the maps are presented in like Warriors games? Is it just me where I'm like, where am I? Sometimes like.
I've played for way too long that, like, in Samurai Warriors 1, you can turn the map off. And I played through all of Yukimura's story with no map.
You're a brave soul.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's probably more fun,
Samurai Warriors
honestly.
1 is pretty great.
That's when that's back when I was doing Let's Plays. I did like a no map challenge for both Yukimura and Hanzo. And then I did a live stream of KG's too, with no map.
I want to try that now. That sounds actually really, like, I feel like I would have more fun with the Warriors game. I feel like at a certain point, I guess, when it comes to like efficiency, you kind of go like, okay, I'm gonna just watch the map and run to whatever's got the big red dots, kill all the big red dots and keep it going. But if I had no map and I didn't know, I'd probably have more. I would actually pay attention to the environment, because I was going to say, I can't really, like you were saying with the mashups, I can't really think of like, I know Hulao Gate. I can vividly remember that stage. And the one stage on the boats. That's from Samurai Warriors 2.
The Battle of Chirbi.
I think it's Osaka.
Oh, that was Dynasty Warriors. Kyushu? No.
I think it's like Osaka.
The boat?
It was whichever one Motochika's side was on.
Yes.
I forget.
There's,
because I know the one that you're talking about where you're running on the boats and like there's small little bits of land, but it's mostly boats. And I know exactly the stage you're talking about. I can picture it in my head, but I can't remember the name of it.
I hate that stage. No matter what game, every game that I play that stage in, I think it's because of Samurai Warriors 2 Empires, playing that stage over and over again, where I'm like, I can't do this stage no more.
Yeah. Are there any visual, aside from the map, are there any visual indications? Like, if you take the map off, like, how do you navigate? Aside from like just looking at, this is about to be a turn, I turn here, like Like, how do you
Just,
know
like,
where everybody's at?
Fucking muscle memory.
Well, that is true because I guess
There, like, depending on the stage, there are some really key visual cues to know, oh, this is where I would be. I would, like, I see this specific, like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Gate?
Like a
event, like
We just about to say
indicator?
naming things. Enemy?
like an indicator. Yeah, like there's this thing that I know is in the bottom left of the map. So if I'm here, then I'm in the bottom left of the map.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, you can't turn the map off in Warriors Orochi. I think the only ones you can turn it off in is Samurai Warriors 1, Pirate Warriors 3, and both of the Fist of the North Star ones.
Damn, the fact that you knew that little thing, that little detail.
I forgot there was
So
a
I
Fist of
guess-
the North Star one. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there's two of those boys.
Oh my God,
I actually
I
just
forgot about
watched
that.
your video on that today. Like taking out, like if you were to just start, like if you had never played a Warriors game and you're like, fuck it, I'm not gonna do this first stage without a map. You couldn't. You know what I mean? You couldn't succeed, right?
You would probably find yourself turned around a few times. Like when I was doing the no map challenge, for a while there was an inside joke in my community that Hanzo's in the castle. I think I was playing Osaka and it kept appearing. Hanzo was in the castle. Go protect so and so, and I'd be like, "Fuck, where am I? Where's Hanzo?" And I'd be like running around the map, and I'd be like, "Wait, I've been here before. Where the fuck is Hanzo?"
Yeah, let's move on to story. You guys can talk about that. I did not pay too much attention to the story.
Wow.
I'm gonna take a break. Bye, guys.
You could at least like watch the first story.
No. Okay, I did. I did watch Shu and Wei, and Wu's I paid attention to halfway, and then I was like, all right. And then Samurai Warriors, I didn't really.
Yeah, the Samurai Warriors one is the one that I always least remember. And I should probably play through it again sometime just to be like, was this actually just mid, or is it just me not remembering it? Because I have I personally prefer Dynasty Warriors to Samurai Warriors. So that's the ones that I've played the most of. So I remember Shoes being like, it opens up with Xiao Yun in like a jail cell, being held captive by the Orochi army. And then I think it was Shinsai, Zuotsi, and Yoshihiro rescue him. And they're like, Liu Bei's alive. He can save the world. And so like that's essentially Shu's story.
Let's go.
Find Liu Bei and kill Orochi. That's essentially the gist of Shu's story. Wei's is probably my favorite because it's like that whole story of Cao Pi and Mitsunari being like taking down Orochi from the inside.
I would say Wu is my favorite story out of all of them. It might just be also because that's when I actually watched most of the cutscenes for. Like the rest of them, I'd be like, all right, yeah, okay, I get the gist. But Wu's story, I felt like Sunsei's story arc on that, but this is also biased because I really like Wu. Let me ask this a question. What's everybody's favorite kingdom?
Wei.
Favorite kingdom. Ooh.
This is going to be crazy if he says what I think he's going to say.
Shut up. You go first. No.
Oh, yeah, he wasn't
Well, we
here
know
for
he's
it.
Wu. I'm Wei.
That's tough. I would say it's a toss-up for me. I really can't. It's Shu or...
He's going to say Chin. He's going to be gross.
No, I'm not going to say Chin. Because I'm only basing this off of like... Well, what are you guys basing it off of? The story or the characters? Or like
I was doing overall.
both?
I was doing every game.
Yeah.
Every game, except for this game, I always play Wu's story first. And I always go like, dang, man, I really liked it. Yeah, man.
Yep. Xiahou Dun's my favorite character. If he's available right from the get-go, he's always the first character I play through. He's also usually the first character I fully max out, and I always get disappointed because I'm like, oh, well, now it's a waste of time if I play as my favorite character.
It's actually hilarious because, like, Jiang Wei is my favorite character, and he's a Shu character. But, like, Wu-wise, Lu Meng has always been, like, my go-to guy. Him and Sun Sun Yang are always, like, the two that I'm like, yeah, all right, these are my ones.
Yeah, I would have just had to say Shu, honestly. I do like that story a lot.
You like that story?
And I like what
you
story?
like happiness?
Benevolence, yeah.
Like
no, I also just like Xing Shai a lot. She's like my favorite. I like her whole thing with what's his face? Lu Bu Sun or Lu Shu? I don't even know. I'm sorry. Wu's good too, though.
Wu's
like
depressing because every game is always just like everybody dies.
Yeah, that's sad.
Oops.
Definitely.
Yeah. Sun Jian's just like, I'm gonna take over China, and then he dies, and then Sun Tzu's like, I'll do it for you, and then he dies.
It's just like, geez.
And then Zhou Yu is like, let's take on Wei and get them gone so that Wu can take over, and then he dies.
I think that's the Dynasty Warriors 7 story in a nutshell, where I was like, damn. Every other stage is like, this person's dying. It's like their death scene, and everybody's around. I'm like, please don't die.
Shu doesn't get depressing until Guan Yu dies, and then Zhang Fei dies not too long after, and then Liu Bei dies not too long after, and then Liu Shan is like, no, I give up.
Yeah, Guan Yu's stage is like that's so memorable for Dynasty Warriors 7 because like everybody dies, and then you just play as Guan Suo during it, and he's just like, no, guys, please don't die. We can talk about Dynasty Warriors 7 forever. I'm sorry.
I do like the Samurai Warriors, like Yuki more, like the Sanada clan story. Like I got a deep appreciation from the
Spirit of Sanada.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, this shit's intense.
Yeah, that was a great story, and that was the whole reason why when they announced that Samurai Warriors 5 was going to have like cut characters and it's going to have a focus story specifically on Nobunaga Mitsuhide, I was like, fuck yeah, I'm here for this.
Yes.
We don't need to like have this giant roster to have like an incredible game.
Right.
Yeah, Hybrid Warriors really showed me that when it comes to like Warriors games. I think, and just to tie this back in with Warriors Orochi, I think that's like the part that always like throws me off. I'm weird. I don't like a lot of characters. I guess, okay, for me, and I guess because of like older games, I mean, not older games, but games in the future, like they start becoming clones. And I feel as though I would rather have 30 good characters with 30 unique, very diverse movesets than 99 characters and 17 of them are going to share the same moveset. But that's the nice part about Warriors Orochi is that even if I was about to say 17 because I think it is. I was trying to count before the podcast how many characters have just sword. And I got into double digits, but they all are very unique. And that's the coolest part about them. They all have very diverse movesets, even in the older games. And I thought that was really cool about them.
Yeah, because like in Dynasty Warriors 2, that's where like Deng Zhuo, Yuan Shao, Liu Bei, Sun Quan, and Sun Jian all literally had the exact same moveset. And then when they brought it over to Dynasty Warriors 3, they were like, okay, let's change up a couple of their Musos maybe and a couple of their charge attacks. And then Dynasty Warriors 4 differentiated them a little bit more. And then Dynasty Warriors 5 again.
Let's give this guy a fireball.
By the time we were at Warriors Orochi, like just the first game, literally every character has a unique moveset and a feel to them. You could play literally as Deng Zhuo, Liu Bei, and Sun Quan and have a different enough of an experience playing those three characters, even though they kind of have the exact same first 3 or 4 normal attacks.
And the magic system with each of them also does, I feel like that boosts them a lot as well too, because certain characters you can have like, I'll shoot some arrows or I'll double my speed, and I like that, adding that mixture and learning a little bit of the jank when it comes to like hot swapping or like speed character combo canceling and stuff like that. It can get intense. I'm sorry.
And then when you play on the harder difficulties, sometimes you almost need a strength character on your team to swap into, because when you're attacking with a strength character, if you get attacked, you don't flinch from that. So you can continue your combo and keep dealing damage to some of the stronger enemies.
I would always hot swap into Sunsei and then immediately press R1 so he does his order real fast, and then hot swap back into Zhao Yun and then pop the fireball to do all the damage, and then hop back to Lu Ming to like finish the combo. That was my like string for everything throughout the Wu story.
Fun fact, I think it's been confirmed through the other games that the Wu story is actually the canonical ending to the first game.
Let's see. I'm trying to tell you, we're the best kingdom.
Hold
man.
on.
Trying to tell you, we're the best kingdom.
Yeah, I think it was confirmed in Orochi 4, where like Zeus is looking down on Earth and they see the Sun family killing Orochi. It was either in 3 or 4 that there was like a flashback or something, and that was the scene that they chose to show Orochi's death.
Let's go. See, Wu is canon, bro. Isn't it symbolic?
I don't have a problem with Wu.
Kills the main antagonist. I love how Sima Yi was just slowly plotting with like Orochi, where he's like, honestly, I don't care about any of these guys. Kill them all. I like that. That's very on brand for him.
All right. Well, I guess we kind of touched a little bit on the gameplay. Do you guys want to go in deeper, or do you have any more to say about the gameplay? Because I mean, Chris, you kind of touched on the techniques or the type system, I guess, where each character is a specific type.
Yeah, like if you're playing on easy, you're probably not going to notice too much of a difference, other than like just how their skills react. Like speed characters, they're going to use less Musou, but their skills are going to be faster or deal less damage. Technique characters, you're going to be able to use the skill button to make certain charge attacks faster or change what the charge attack does. And then strength characters, like their skills are super powerful. They use like most of the time half, if not more, of their Musou bar to use. But like you really start to notice just how fragile speed characters are and just how tankish strength characters are in the harder difficulties.
I never went past, what is it, Chaos? Is that the hardest level?
I think so.
Did you guys play Chaos?
I played Chaos one time with like my max characters. So, like from each, like there was always one character that I kept with each story, and I would just have them be like level 70 by the end of the story mode. And I still got my ass whooped on Chaos mode. I was like, this is it's a very.
I didn't play Chaos a whole lot in Orochi 1, but I did in Orochi 2 because it was just super easy to get the level 4 weapons.
Yeah, it's very Dante Must Die feeling, where it's like you everybody has hella health and you got to just combo them, and if you get hit
and
one
they're
time,
all after you too.
GG. Yeah.
I am also really bad at using the guard button, so
I never use
the harder
it the
difficulties in me don't mix.
Yeah, guard was always unintuitive in the Warriors games for some reason. It just doesn't feel like it should even be there. Like, use that button for something else. Give me a dodge, I guess, right? Like a proper dodge button would be cool.
Yeah. A lot of, like, there's a couple of Warriors games that just don't have a block button.
Yeah.
Pirate Warriors 4 doesn't have a guard button. That button is literally just used to reset the camera behind yourself. That's
just
it.
Get good and keep fighting.
As far as some of the gameplay stuff, I did think it was interesting. This because growth points weren't a part of any of the other Warriors games, although they had like EXP and stuff. But I do like using that as currency to both speed level a character and also using it for, I mean, it's your currency like of the whole game. You do everything with the growth points. So that was kind of interesting, because then you had to pick and choose, like, okay, do I want to get this new character that I just got to level up to level whatever 25 so they will be useful in the next battle, or do I want to soup up this weapon that I got with these different attributes. I feel like it kind of gave you like okay, choose A or B. You can't have both, unless you grind. Unless you with Sandy, I'm pretty sure you did.
Nah, this is the one game I did not grind. I beat the stories and said, "This is it." I played no free mode or nothing.
I never did the weapon fusions personally because I always found like the weapons that you got through normal play would just be good enough, and then I just like would focus on like certain characters that when I would unlock them. Like I think Shahudun you unlock like halfway through Wei's story, so obviously I'm like, oh, let's get him up to level 30 right away so I can yeah. That way I can just like throw him into my team and be good to go. But usually what I would do is try to keep everybody at the same minimum level. So I would literally go through and be like, okay, I want everybody to be level 19 now. So I would go and like use up all of my growth points, go to another stage, use the rest of them up. And then once everybody was level 19, do it all again until everybody was level 20 and so on and so forth until everybody's level 99. And then once everybody's level 99, then I can use my growth points towards getting the best of the best weapon.
See, look, I did it all wrong. I would unlock a new
No, I mean, that's a valid strategy, but it's not the only one.
I would like, every time I would like max out a character's ability acquisition, as soon as I wouldn't use any growth points. I would just be like, hey, listen, he's level 1. He all you got to do is defeat 3 officers, bro. I just get one, like beat him to like a brink of life and then swap to him. And
yep.
And then after I finished the ability acquisition, I would just use the growth points to level up the next one for the ability acquisition so that I can get them up. Because I found that weapon fusing, every time that I would weapon fuse, the next stage I would play, I would get a weapon that's just as good as the weapon I fused. And I would be mad. And I'd be like, okay, I just wasted all my growth points for all this. Or even worse, when you add slots to a weapon, you can't add slots and then add new things to the slots with the same thing. So I'd have to like make weapon fuse a weapon for the slots and then fuse that weapon with the weapon for the slots that I can
yeah, because it would kick you out of the menu too. You'd have to like go back and be like, okay, why do I have to make, or I guess fuse it and then go back to this menu, select that same weapon and then jump back. Like,
yeah, going back and doing the weapon fusion in this game or Orochi 2 is just like the weapon fusion system in Orochi 3 is perfect. Like, hands down, that's the best weapon fusion system any Warriors game has had.
I can agree with that, because I do vividly remember that one. And it was easy.
Because, like, you can add slots and add attributes to those slots with the same weapon in Orochi 3.
And wasn't it, like, something where you could, like, dismantle as soon as you get the weapon, where you can just, on the screen, be like, nah, I don't want this, dismantle. Anything I do?
That was 4.
Oh.
Yeah, that was 4.
Yeah. 4 is almost as bad as 1 and 2 because like you have to dismantle to get the pieces of the attribute that you want.
Yeah.
But you need so many pieces, so you need to break down so many of the same attribute to even get +1 of it, instead of like one attribute equals +1 to that skill.
Yeah.
But you could buy them, right? I remember being able to buy. I never did, but
I hated the weapon fusion system so much that I was just like, fuck it, I'll buy the DLC weapons. They're OP as shit, so I'll be fine.
That's how I felt with Samurai Warriors 5. I was like, the season pass gonna give me the ultimate weapons anyway. Why not? I'm not about to grind for this.
So ugly.
Dismantle everything.
Yeah. Sandy, the way you were describing the abilities or the skills, I think just in gameplay design, it was interesting because it does force you to use different characters, which I don't know, it's kind of smart. Like, okay, how do we get people to actually experiment with different characters? Like, okay, well, each character has a specific ability, and you have to use them and like do certain things in battle with this character to upgrade that ability, and so it kind of forces you to do that if you're so inclined. I didn't do that very much, but
I think it would have been cool to like take it a step further to have like there's certain things that only speed characters can do, like, you know, the double jump that certain like the ninja characters get. being able to access certain parts of the map. I think that would have been cool if they utilized that a little bit more and maybe gave technique people the ability to go through or like unlock certain doors or something, like just as simple as something like that, or strength characters be able to break boulders that are blocking the way, so that maybe you'll go into it with a team of 1 speed, 1 technique, and 1 strength.
Yeah, more like in-game like utility, like there's no real use for, I mean, there was lots of times where I had like 2 techniques and 1 speed, or all techniques or something, and I'm like, this isn't I'm like, that's fine. I don't see the problem here.
Yeah, it's really only a categorization of how does this character's skills get used, not necessarily how can you utilize this character in the game.
Yeah, that seems to be
that's a great point.
Was the philosophy for sure.
I like that. I like that wording. I'm just going to add that as a. That's actually like really sums up like exactly what I was thinking about this too, when it comes to speed, power, and everything like that. Where it's like there's certain characters where like I'm looking at why they're assigned that, and I'm like, why?
But yeah, I don't know why Shahoodun's a speed character. It doesn't make any sense.
That's one of the
giant scimitar.
I feel like
that screams power to me.
Yeah. There's a lot of characters where I was like, huh.
But maybe it's because like he's the rival to Guan Yu, who is a power character, so he's a speed to offset that. I don't know.
Everybody in Wei was like a technique character. It was kind of just, and Wu. It was like every single person you got was like, yeah, bro, technique.
Well, I think the majority of Wu was power. The majority of Wei was speed, and the majority of Shu was technique. But like you had like the odd one that was thrown in there. Like I think Sima Yi was technique and Shu Huang was power. So like you had a little bit of mixture, but I think they went into it being like, oh, let's make
each kingdom
this dynasty a specific. Yeah.
That would make sense.
But like you don't really notice it when you're playing through the game because they don't really do anything to really differentiate them enough.
Other than like having like the air dash with speed characters, that's the only thing I can think of that made me really go like, okay,
I rarely used that.
To be fair, I haven't either yet.
Yeah, I used it a lot. It was the only way to get around quickly.
You wasn't,
because you just jump and you're like,
you
just throw on the speed up skill.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I had the speed up skill, and I just felt still slow. I don't know.
But did you max it out?
I didn't max it out, guys. I didn't max it out.
That's the first mistake. That and Cavalier was the two I kept looking for with the skills. Like all the other skills, I was like, whatever. But Cavalier and Speed, I was like, I need these at 9.
Can we talk about Cavalier? And when you max it out and you go into a stage with a dynasty character, you're on red hair. But if you go into a stage with a samurai character, you're on Matsukaze.
It's so amazing.
That was a nice little bit of detail that I was like, oh yeah, that's nice.
But no costumes, all right?
Yeah. We have to draw the line somewhere.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, we're pumping these out every year. Come on. I did think there was a couple missions where I was stuck, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, there's a mission where I think it was to unlock a specific character, and I was trying to unlock her, but you're essentially trying to defeat all the messengers in this like circular, it's like Jangi or something like that.
It's like a castle, and you gotta like defeat them all before they like run to the exit.
Yeah, I'm like, the way this was designed, it's like almost impossible, or at least it felt that way, to get all of the messengers.
It's definitely a co-op stage.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was, because you need someone on this side, and
Yeah, or you need Cavalier and the speed up maxed out.
Did you? Oh my god! Probably. Honestly, Sandy, wasn't it you that were? I think, that you don't really do battle when you are on a horse. You just like use them for traversal. You don't like ever.
This is another thing.
I do that.
Yeah, I do it in newer games because this is another thing I forgot to mention about the gameplay. I never use Musou attacks, which is very weird.
Oh, well.
What?
Yeah.
I understand that with Warriors Orochi, because your Musou bar only fills up when you're not using that character.
Exactly.
Unless you have the skill that fills it up over time.
I would just spam the special attacks.
Max that bad boy out.
Yeah. That's what I would do. I would just spam the special attacks and use that as like a Musou attack, essentially. Because they felt more outlandish compared, like, because I'm more used to, like, later, like Dynasty Warriors 7, when they decided we're not going to make it a
long string of attacks.
We're just going to make it a giant fuck you button. And that's how I use the special attacks in this game, where I was like, okay, this is my giant fuck you button. I'm going to just... So I gravitated towards the characters to where their R1 special was more area of effect or like giant crowd destroying moves. And that's what I would use. But then this game,
the Musou attacks are just like... I'm always just like, that's it? Okay.
Yeah, because Samurai Warriors 5, like, you use a horse Musou, the whole stage is gone. Like, you can go through a whole stage with just using the horse Musou and be good for, like, the entire stage until you got to actually fight an officer. Especially in, like, 7 or in, like, later stages, like, they really buffed the horse Musou compared to how it is now. Like, now it stops the whole horse, like...
it does, like that... Yeah.
Yeah, and they don't even do nothing. So I never used it.
I hate horse combat. Like, the only ones that I don't mind are the samurai characters, because they actually kind of have a move set on their horseback.
Yeah.
Like, their charge attacks are different and everything, but with Dynasty characters, like, especially in the classic games, they would go back and forth with their weapon. They wouldn't focus on one side, so like...
And some characters have...
If you were trying to kill an officer while on horseback, it was like, okay, there's one attack, miss. There's another attack, miss. There's another attack, miss.
At a 50% hit rate.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, I don't know. Yeah, it's so funny.
But one nice thing talking about the horses is every character can call their horse from anywhere on the map, which... is a luxury to us now because it's like a dedicated
you spawn
button.
With one, yeah. Wasn't it like
but
select?
Whoop! There goes my light.
There goes my hard drive again.
Fuck! Giving me numb flashbacks.
No, it's just funny because his face, he just immediately was like, like the eyes wide. Nigga was like, was it? Gotta make sure. Immediately open.
But yeah, like back in the day, you had to run and find where your horse was on the map. Like Dynasty Warriors 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah, you gotta
Samurai
bring
Warriors 1. Yeah, you couldn't call your horse. And in Samurai Warriors 2, only 3 characters could call their horse because that was their skill.
I'm trying to remember who it was. I remember it off the top of my head.
Yukimura, Keiji, and Toshie.
I was so close. Let's go. Clap it up. I knew it was Keiji for one. Because on Samurai Warriors 2 Empires, like when you copy the movesets for created characters, I was always like, bro, his moveset's ass. He calls a horse. Little did I know as a little kid.
It was the only one.
But speaking of other gameplay stuff, I don't like how they did the third faction in Orochi. Because, like, you'll have the blue is your side, red is the opposite side, like the enemy side. And every now and then you'll have a yellow side.
Right.
But in, like, Samurai Warriors 1 and 2, that yellow side was a third faction. It was a 3-way battle. And in Orochi, sometimes that yellow side is an enemy, sometimes they're a friend.
It was very scripted to, like, which side is going to be for the initial battle. And I agree with you.
And usually it was like the yellow side are the characters that you're allying with now, and if you beat the stage, either you unlock them or maybe they're characters that could be unlocked if you beat the stage a certain way.
Yeah, I was going to say that as well, because I felt like I can't remember a single time that I actually killed anything with a yellow life bar.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of stages where it is a 3-way battle, but more often than not, the yellow side might as well just be a blue side. Like,
yeah, just extra blue.
There was really no point in making them yellow, other than like from a story perspective saying, "Oh, these people aren't with you yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, because whenever I see yellow in a Warriors game, it is a third faction that I think of immediately.
Yeah.
It's like, do I attack these people now, or are they on my side? And it's usually like story based, because I don't know, like Warriors games are weird. It just feels like there's this long script in the background that's like scrolling and like triggering as you're doing certain things in the map. 'Cause even the way it ends when it says victory, you're like walking around waiting for like things to like finish up on that like it's weird. Like
there's a phrase that was kind of coined by a friend of mine called the Koei event buffer.
Yeah. When you're just sitting in front of the gate, like, are you gonna open up yet? I gotta wait for you guys to finish talking.
And then it's like, you have killed 300 people. You have killed 350 people. You have killed 400 people. And you're sitting there at 550 kills, 5 other officers to defeat, and you're sitting there at the gate being like, okay, when are we gonna get to this?
They need to like read like, and maybe they did with
they've made it better with the newer ones, where if there's like a gate to open, that will trigger before like the officers being defeated or so many KOs kind of thing.
I'm trying to remember. So, I don't even think they did it in Pirate Warriors.
The event buffer has gotten a lot better with modern games, but it was definitely an issue for like some of the older titles. There'd be some waiting.
Yeah, it's like, what am I waiting
if you were too good?
Beat it too fast.
I definitely experienced that on the one stage for KG where you gotta like prove your worth to him, and I would just sit there and I was like, all right, I escorted the guy here. Are you gonna open up yet? And he's like, no. And I'm like, what the fuck? What am I supposed to do? And I'm just sitting around. I'm like, did I miss an event? I think that's the first time in a Warriors game I actually clicked the history button to scroll up and look at everything. I was like, what is going on? What am I missing? Only for like the last 5 minutes for him to open the gate and be like, you're taking too long. I'm gonna just let you finish the stage.
And the worst thing with those escort style stages is like if the character just decides not to move at all, or they get stuck on some of the geography, so you have to jump on your horse and like nudge them a little bit over.
That's exactly what happened.
They're like running into a wall and you're like, okay, let's get on with this.
He ran into one of the guard posts and I had to destroy the guard post for him to stop running in a straight line. I'm like, stop, please. Just want to finish this stage.
It's like really rigid in like the way they like lay the groundwork for their games, but
yeah. And like back in the day, this was fine. Like people were like, oh yeah, I'll just wait. Now we're like, can we get the fucking gas going on this?
But we are spoiled.
I think the endings though, for sure. Even when I was younger, I'd be like, because it says victory and you're just like walking around. I'm just like, what's going? Is it frozen? And then it would like close out and fade to the results screen or whatever. But that was always even strange to me when I didn't know better. Rather,
I did like that they brought in the samurai warriors, like when you would run and they like run away at the end of the battle. I really enjoyed that,
like retreating.
Yeah, and I would always stand in front of the gate, like, where y'all running to? My character just
cosplay or role play as your character.
Yeah, like keep running. Yeah.
All right, let's get down to some of these questions and see here. So the first one I have is why aren't there more crossover franchises like this? This is such. I feel like with Samurai Warriors and Dynasty Warriors, obviously they're under the same. They have the same developer and everything, so it does make sense in that regard. But
I guess it would depend on what you would consider a crossover. Because, like, would you consider Hyrule Warriors a crossover? Or does it need to be, like, characters from Game A and Game B in the same game?
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So, like, Marvel versus... I want to say Marvel versus Capcom, but that's kind of different, but it's also the same,
Yeah. Or have you ever played Project Cross Zone?
That's what I was about to say.
Project, yeah. It's those maps are long too. Those.
Oh my god, I had to give up on that game. I was like, this is fucking cool, but I don't have the time.
Yeah, it's actually like the battle system is really cool, and it's very especially if you like pixel art, it's really cool to watch. Smash Bros is a crossover game and probably the one
Crossover
that has
for sure.
done it the best. You know.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm like, why? There's not much.
I think you need to be very
Specific with who you cross over.
Call of Duty and
because
Halo.
like
That's very possible now at this point. That is
I know,
that
right?
is definitely going to happen in 2 years.
there's two levels of crossover. There's like that, you know, this one character is going to be in this game, like the fucking Spartan in DOA 4.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Or Yoda.
Everybody was like, Master Chief is in Dead or Alive. No, it's not Master Chief. It's just another Spartan that wears the same armor as Master Chief.
Or Yoda in Soul Calibur.
Yep.
Yeah.
But like, I think Orochi works so well because Samurai Warriors and Dynasty Warriors, not only are they from the same developer, but like they're pretty much the same game.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
And
Warriors All-Star,
Structurally and everything.
while still a fun game, like I could
it's not the same.
yeah, it's not the same at all.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
I haven't played that one. Did you play that one, Sandy?
Yeah, it's
That's the review. It's
it's one of those games I traded in. That's before I started.
Oh, you don't have
collecting. Yeah, but
it's I would say it's fun once you've unlocked all of the characters and you just
bullshit.
want it to be one of those, oh, today I want to play as this character, but I want it to be in a warrior setting. So like you just jump into that game, play a couple of stages, and then you're done. It's not one of those sit down and binge kind of warriors games.
Like we definitely will not be covering this one back of the rack. Like that's
We should have. What
No.
the fuck?
no, trust me.
Well, fine. We'll do it on the Koei cast then.
There's like I always thought playing Warriors All-Star that it was so ugly because I loved William from Neo. I loved his moveset in that game. And then seeing like an Alterier character and a giant cat and Zhao Yun being like, yeah. While I do a Musou, it's just so ugly.
Oh, that's right. The only gameplay I've ever like or review, I think I watched yours, Chris, and you were talking about like the pros.
Actually, wait. No, I did a comparison between it and Orochi.
Oh, okay. And I remember you specifically pointing out like what they do during a Musou, and I was like the whole cheering system or something, right? Isn't it like the whole screen like it's like a party all of a sudden?
Yeah.
Like, there's just like confetti and it. Yeah, it's really weird. Really, really weird.
Yeah,
It's definitely more anime than like grounded.
It made me realize that Koei Tecmo has a lot of anime JRPGs under their belt than I knew. And
Well, when they acquired Gust, they got a lot. So Gust is like the developer for Atelier, Knights of Azure, Blue Reflection. They did a Fairy Tale RPG not too long ago.
yeah. I was just telling you about that. You gotta get it, man.
It's good.
It's a great game. The Fairy
Fairy
Tale
Tale.
RPG. Yeah. Remember I was like the Fairy Tale JRPG. And you're like, I never really was into Fairy Tale. And I was like, bro, listen, but the JRPG
Is
really good.
that's how you're gonna make me sound? I was never into it.
Sound like some Chicago chain smoker. I wasn't really into it.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I don't. I actually did want to try it, but the Fairy Tale story and like I'm like I don't know. I tried to get to the anime a couple of times. I was just like,
I never watched the anime before I played the game, and I loved it. I got the review code maybe like 5 days before the game launched, and I had every trophy 2 days after it launched.
oh damn, you went in.
Because see, the thing with Fairy Tale,
I remember messaging my contact with Koei being like, yeah, it's done. And he was like, what?
you still got
120 hours.
Because see, the thing with Fairy Tale is that like That's what I was going to say about like One Piece, because One Piece Pirate Warriors 4 is my favorite Musou game out of like all of them. But that's only because the characters and the movesets of One Piece and the anime is so diverse that it allows for you to have like crazy movesets like Nico Robin in every other One Piece game. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I don't like you. But in Warriors, she has a super fun moveset. Or I'm trying to think of other characters that are in there. Like in the
Tashigi is really fun in the Warriors games.
Yes.
I love in Pirate Warriors 3, every character kind of has like a little taunt. But with hers, she takes her glasses off. And when you do that, your field of vision decreases.
So
like in the game.
That's like Zoro and I think World Seeker. There's like a DLC where you play as Zoro and it costs 999 skill points, but it allows you to see the map, and the map and like the world map is just blurred out and you can't see anything. You don't know where you're going.
That's actually good. That's funny. That's so funny.
It's the best.
But that detail for that taunt you're talking about, I always thought that was a really cool little detail for them. I feel like they put so much more love into the
One Piece. They love One Piece, man.
all their spin-offs have been super solid. Like, I know a lot of people just either haven't played, haven't heard of, or they don't hate it, but they don't like it for Arslan, the Warriors of Legend. But like, that is such a good it's such a good game when you look at some of the other Warriors games that are out there.
Yeah, there was like stealth sections in there, and like wasn't there like stealth sections and like actual like platforming and everything on the game?
Yep.
Like there was like non-Musou stages, and then the cavalry. Like that's the only game where, like, mind you, I think I want to say I played it on PlayStation 3 because I vividly remember doing the cavalry charges and seeing my frames tank to like 3 FPS.
Yeah.
And being like, what the fuck is going on? But like, it was cool seeing it and seeing the big numbers and the 100 KO. That was cool. I liked it. If I could, I'll probably play it again on PlayStation 4 where it doesn't run at 30 frames.
Watch the anime too.
Oh yes, great anime.
The second season opening is a fucking bop.
The Berserk and the Band of the Hawk was probably one of my least favorite collaborations. Yeah, I was so excited for it because I'm a pretty big fan of that show, or at least the Golden Age movies, and like it was so mundane to me because I mean, one, I like characters, like I want characters on top of characters, and like obviously this one they only had what, like 7 or something. 8
I was about to say Berserk is a very singular story.
Yeah, it was. I think I mentioned it in my review that this is one of the lowest, if not the lowest, character roster of any Warriors game.
And the movesets too were just a little like, I was like,
yeah, because even Mystic Heroes had more characters than that. Mystic Heroes has like what, like 10?
No, Mystic Heroes has 4.
Dang.
Mystic Heroes only has 4 characters?
I could have swore there was like some secret characters.
The first characters.
I was about to say, I was like, but to be fair, I haven't played Mystic Heroes in so long.
It's been years.
Listen, man.
What is Mystic Heroes?
I covered it like 3 or 4 years ago.
We need a Mystic Heroes too. I'm saying it. We need it.
I've been watching your videos for so long. Like I can I remember watching your video on it. Because I think you're the only people on YouTube that does like warrior specific content like that I know of. There was this other guy that also did it, but
I was gonna say, like, I always saw your videos when I would look up a Warriors game, and I would always be like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna just listen to his opinion on this one. And I think that, and then I think Wonder Period just for the gameplay, because they would always have.
There's a lot of like Let's Players and stuff in the Koei community, but there's not as many who do like these fully scripted, fully edited reviews. And
I need that shit.
like I started with that, and then I was like, I'm gonna start adding some Let's Plays into the mix, and then like Let's Plays were so easy that I was doing like daily uploads, but then I was only doing the scripted reviews for Musou. There was no other scripted videos throughout the year, and I was like, this isn't doing it for me, so I cut Let's Plays entirely and went back to doing reviews and stuff.
It's more rewarding too. Like the swap, when you like put all your effort into one video and then you release it and it's like, okay, everybody likes this one. This one's a lot better than like Let's Plays. Because I mean, you kind of just intro, outro, gameplay. But I mean, it's nice if somebody wants to see gameplay, they could be like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not saying that doing Let's Plays is like lesser content, because it definitely still, like, you have to watch every second if you want to like add a funny edit or add something to make it a little bit more entertaining or what have you. Like one of the things that I did whenever I would play classic Dynasty Warriors games, because they were all in 4:3 aspect ratio, whenever a cutscene would happen, the cutscene would still be in 16:9. So I would zoom in on that to fill up the space on the video, and then zoom back out when it would go back to the gameplay. So I would like literally watch every second to make sure that I would zoom in whenever there was a cutscene and then zoom back out. So I know that Let's Plays are time consuming. It wasn't the thing that brought me joy whenever I was creating.
Yeah, because then you have to talk. Like I can tell you're like us, where you just play a game and you're like, and having to talk while you play a game, it kind of throws you off a little bit. Where it's like, I gotta entertain nobody that's watching right now. This is just.
It depends on the game and what's happening. Warriors, I find it for me at least, it's hard because like, oh yeah, I'm gonna keep pressing square.
Exactly. You're just like, yeah, like this is like the Warriors games in general are very like both of us, we got ADHD. It's a very like, I'm gonna do this while watching a video, while this is rendering, while some music's playing in the background, while I pet my cat. Like it's a very sensory game.
I remember this is a fucking tangent and a half, but I remember living at home with my parents, and my mom would come into my room, and I remember she just like stopped in her tracks because I was playing Dynasty Warriors, watching a YouTube video, and I was on an elliptical.
Just no.
Yeah, like, god damn.
Just like, what? I'm optimizing my life.
There's something about the Warriors games. They're like, I've told Sonny this, like this, they're like podcast games to me. Like I'll listen to a podcast or watch a movie in the background while I play Warriors. And that's one of the main reasons I'm not too in touch with a lot of the story elements and stuff. Like I've played a lot of Warriors and I played a lot of the titles, but I usually will just skip some of the cutscenes or like not really pay too much attention. Although when it's the same story being told, you start to pick up on like what's going on, who's constantly dying, what events are important and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just the gameplay that really just sucks me in, and because I don't know, I like doing other shit too. Like I want to listen to this podcast. I can't play fucking Last of Us and listen to a podcast. I mean, you could, but it's not an optimal way.
Like there's definitely some Warriors games that you should focus on the story, like Spirit of Sanada, Samurai Warriors 5, Dynasty Warriors 7 and 8. Just skip 9. But yeah, even some of the spin-offs, like Age of Calamity was really good for its story.
Yeah. I would definitely say that I really enjoyed Fire Emblem Warriors story. I'm sorry, there's chaos going on in the background, so I just ignore it.
I don't hear anything.
Yeah, neither do I.
So, Chris, I have a couple questions for you. Specific. Yep. What have been your favorite gameplay mechanics in Warriors games? You can just name one. You don't have to name all of them. But like, is there a specific gameplay mechanic in a Warriors game you're just like, this should be in every Warriors game?
I have a video idea for something similar to this, where I would talk about like all the little things in Warriors games that I just love, like duels in Dynasty Warriors 4 and 6. Like, I actually think 6 did it better for duels. But like the charge attack system, I think, is like the perfect hack and slash combat mechanic that you can ever implement. Because it's like you have your normal attacks, and then you can just press triangle anywhere, and like that's your finisher.
So good. They copied
personally,
it
I
on
think.
Fate.
What?
I'm saying it's such a good like combo system. They just copied it for Fate, and I'm trying to think of there's a couple other Musou clones that
Yeah, I got a few videos coming up for that.
I'm still in the sauce.
That was one of the big videos that I lost with the hard drive being broke.
We'll get it back.
Had months.
We got
months.
We got 7 months until
footage.
then. We're all good.
I'd probably quit. I'd probably be like, I'm just gonna stop now.
No, I've got the script done, so like the script is still good because that's on Google Drive. But like all the gameplay footage, I mean, most of the games, I still have achievements or trophies to unlock or secret weapons or stuff like that. So it's like, oh well, this is just another opportunity to go and grind in those games a little bit more.
True that.
You know, kind of sucks that I need to get all this gameplay footage for like 15 games that I'm pretty sure I'm covering 15 games on this.
Bro, I'm doing a video
5 different franchises.
Bro, I'm making a video for 8 games, and I'm like, bro, this is a lot of footage. I gotta figure this out. I'm over here plotting.
Wait, nigga, 8 games? What are you talking about? What?
The rhythm game video.
Oh,
that's like,
okay,
what,
okay.
8 games, I think.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, hold up. I'm like, what are you doing behind my back? Playing all these games. I'm like, what the fuck? No, I'm kidding. So yeah, what mechanic?
I like costumes. I like having alternate costumes a lot. That's one of the biggest things that I'm disappointed. Like, that's not really a mechanic, but that's one part of the Warriors games that I'm disappointed that modern games haven't been doing. Like Dynasty Warriors 7, 8, Warriors Orochi 3.
There are a lot of DLC.
Like almost every single outfit that's been released was on those games, and I just love them. Dynasty Warriors 7 and 8, they were also doing like remastered stages from the older games too.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest gameplay mechanic is just the combat system itself, is just how natural it feels. Like, even when I first played the game, like, I didn't like it when I first played the game, but it felt natural. Like, I picked it up. I didn't even look at the manual. I was like, square is attack, X is jump. This makes sense.
Yeah. It's a very intuitive, and it's so nice because you can hop into any game in any order and you know how to play the game. And I think that's the best part about Musou games, is because no matter what, like, they might add a little bit more, like One Piece Warriors adding aerial combat, or Arslan adding horses
or something.
Yeah, like or even like the hyper attacks in Samurai Warriors 4 and 5. Like, when you do them, they still feel like, okay, I know what I'm doing. Even if it's just triangle, 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 square now, it still feels, it's easy to master.
It makes sense too. It's always made sense to me, like, for like the finisher to be triangle, like to sort of cap it off, or to, you know, because I remember playing like games like God of War that are, I guess, hack and slash, you know, and you're playing, like, you're pressing square, then triangle, then back to square, then dodge or something. I'm like, that's kind of hard to remember, and a little bit not intuitive, and it feels good when you can pull those moves off, but like to keep a good flow in the rhythm, it's like, fuck, I need to refer to the move list to know what this move is, essentially.
I gotta put
but with the Warriors games, like, you kind of already, like, it's there, like, here are the combos, this is the, if you press, you know, square 3 times and then triangle, it does this move for this character.
And you know it, like, for every character, it's going to be the big sweep.
Yeah, like if you press square and triangle, you know you're going to throw them up into the air. if you press square, triangle, you know you can keep pressing triangle to do like multiple moves, and like it's just such an intuitive design that, you know, whenever I play something that is a hack and slash game that plays differently from it, it's like, what are you doing?
And I think that's what people don't give maybe the Warriors games credit for, kind of to tie it back into some of these questions, which was like, was Warriors Orochi a trailblazer in the hack and slash formula? And it's like, yeah, they were absolutely. They sort of set the stage for this square, triangle, or what is it on Xbox? X, Y?
X and Y.
Yeah.
And then on Switch, it's Y and X.
And then on PC,
it's 1 and 2.
It's tilde and F5. But yeah, it applies to like everything. Like even thinking about like Hyrule Warriors, how it's a little bit more Zelda-y, or even thinking about like Persona 5 Strikers. That's technically a Musou game, but it's a JRPG, and it still fits comfortably. Dragon Quest Heroes, one of my top.
Yeah, Dragon Quest Heroes 2.
Yeah, it fits naturally, perfectly like into the gameplay system. And a lot of RPGs beautiful. I've noticed, like action RPGs, they kind of just take the Musou formula and then just, well, not the whole formula, but like the combat,
the combat formula, yeah,
and just apply it to
Have
JRPG.
You ever played like a hack and slash game where X, like on a PlayStation console, X is the normal attack?
No,
it feels so fucking foreign.
Yeah, Nano Breakers had that where X was light attack, and like
because sometimes triangle is jump for some games.
Yeah,
so an X will be like and I have to switch it. I just don't know what games, but yeah.
A lot of retro games, like if you go back and play a beat 'em up on PS1 or PS2, X or circle might be your normal attack, and square might be your block. Like it's like so weird.
I think Streets of Rage, like X is like something, and like those classic beat 'em ups, like those side scrollers, like yeah. So they really revolutionized the hack and slash formula, I would say, genre.
Dare say they're
and people hate these games. I don't. It's people hate these games. It's so like I see so much vitriol of like people like just. Trashing more like, oh, it's a Musou game, and I'm like, what?
You know what Musou games are?
Nice.
Musou games are like weed.
What? Explain, Sandy. Explain.
When you're a kid, you're like, oh man, I'm never gonna be playing those Musou games, man. They're so
once you get into it,
but then some dude's just like, bro, just try it, bro. It's so good. And it's like, but look at you. You look so dead when you play it, bro. It's nothing.
It's mind numbing.
It's the same shit every time you play it. What are you talking about? Talking about it's a new game. It's the same shit.
This one will be different. It's making sense.
And then when you finally play it and you're like, you're addicted. Now you're zoned out on the couch looking like...
I could quit whenever I want.
Yeah, bro. I'm playing. Bro. It's just... Samurai
I say
Warriors
I could
3.
quit anytime, but I'm also the guy that has 5 copies of Dynasty Warriors 4, so...
Make a comparison videos of Dynasty Warriors 7 on each console. Like, yeah, this is how it looks, man.
That's crazy, man. That's good, because that's exactly what it is. Yeah, I don't think it's as mind numbing as people say, or like.
Yeah, it's only as mind numbing as you want it to be. Like I can throw in the game, put it on easy, like, and just hit square until I get to the end. Or if I want that challenge, I could be like, oh, I want to go for this secret weapon that I know I need to play on, ultra hard nightmare chaos mode. And I need to kill these people. But if I get hit 4 times, it's all over.
Right.
I will say Dynasty Warriors and just the Musou formula in general is better the harder the difficulty is. It's a weird contrivance. Because like Devil May Cry...
That's when you use block.
Because like Devil May Cry is like the same thing where it's like, oh, the harder you play, the better it feels. But for me, I don't like playing Devil May Cry or like any other character action game at like a harder difficulty. I just like playing it on normal, maybe hard one time. But like Dynasty Warriors, I can play as soon as you get your characters leveled up. You can cop on hard mode and just be like, it proceeds more of a challenge to you, and it always when it
like all of my characters in Dynasty Warriors 8 are level 150, and unless I really want just a chill time, I'm playing on normal or harder.
Yeah.
So, like, I kind of moved the difficulty to wherever my, like, the average of all of my characters is. So if my characters are maxed out, I'm usually playing on hard. But starting off, no, give me baby mode.
Please. I can't win.
And that's the idea, too. That's the difference between a Devil May Cry and a Dynasty Warriors, is that with Dynasty Warriors, it's one man versus 1,000, and you can fucking clean house. But with a game like Dante's Inferno,
that's
Dante's Inferno.
Yeah. Shoot, too. It's like
just roll with it.
Each enemy is like a whole puzzle, and then you have to like figure out how to defeat that person with like a specific type of combo, and like, you know, so it is different for sure. Chris, where do you think the Warriors Orochi series is going to be going?
Oh. What just happened?
How did I blinked and he was on the floor? What happened?
I went to go slide real fast to like close the door. I was like, oh shit, the door's not closed. The dog's gonna walk in. Fucking fell out the chair, bro. Oh my god. This is not.
I'm keeping that in.
All right?
I'm not editing that out. I'm keeping that in. It's gonna be the opening of this episode.
This is not how recording normally goes. This is a lot more formal. We're usually mad at each other. We're looking. We're like, yeah.
It's a serious podcast.
Yeah, it's real critique. We have like suits on and shit. Oh man.
But yeah, Chris, like, where do you think the Warriors Orochi series is going to be going? Like, what do you see the future?
It's so hard to know because, like, Dynasty Warriors 9 is an open world game. Like, Koei has said, like, Dynasty Warriors 10 isn't going to be open world. So we can be guaranteed that Warriors Orochi 5 is not going to be open world.
What if they were like...
But I think Orochi 5 is going to be Dynasty Warriors 10 and Samurai Warriors 5. If not, we're going to wait until Samurai Warriors 6.
And those two styles are different too, because Samurai Warriors 5 has adopted that cell shading. So like, it'd be interesting to have those in one game.
Yeah. If Dynasty Warriors 10 takes the same style as Samurai Warriors 5, we can almost be guaranteed that Orochi 5 is going to have those two games. If Dynasty 10 has its own style that's different, I don't think we'll be getting Orochi 5 until we get Samurai Warriors 6, which might be similar in style to Dynasty 10.
That's actually interesting to theorize, because if they do decide to... I don't think... But see, the thing with Dynasty Warriors is there's such backlash on like when they do cut characters to where it's like, no, we're not gonna do that no more. I feel like it would be really interesting if they did decide, let's just gut half the roster and do like Samurai Warriors 5 and be like, we'll bring in some new characters, they'll replace some older ones, and we'll focus on this particular time in this particular from here to here, and that's it with cell shading.
Yeah, I'm honestly for it because I loved every moment of Samurai Warriors 5. And while I was playing it, and even now when I go back to go grinding for the achievements, I don't miss those characters being in that game.
I was going to say the same thing. Like, even the clone characters like Nobuyuki, I'm like, I like them. I just wish they were more fleshed out. But I guess that's also biases of Dynasty Warriors and old Samurai Warriors, where you had 100 characters of unique movesets, and now you're like, why you got to clone them?
Yeah.
Don't shred them to clone them.
I think... like that is a criticism that I also have. Like, they cut the roster so much, and it was such a weird mixture of anime and realism, because like everybody has like relatively realistic weapons. It's a sword, a spear, naginata. The only ones that were not really realistic were the drums and the talismans.
Right. Yeah, I think it screams like indecision on the developers like design team. Like, oh, do we want to lean all the way into anime or to the realism? And they just kind of didn't commit to either. And just real quick to go back to Dynasty Warriors 9 and the open world criticism, I feel like it's somewhat shallow or superficial for Koei to be like I don't think it was the open world that was the problem with Dynasty Warriors 9, because Dragon Quest Heroes 2 was technically open world and did it so much better. You know, so I think it's just like it's just weird, like, oh, open world is gonna ruin the Dynasty Warriors series, but it's like, well, it's been done. They just did it like really they kind of over.
Dragon Quest Heroes 2 was kind of more like a pseudo open world. Like, you had an open world area where you could do your side quests and your hunting and your item gathering and your grinding. And then you had your smaller stages where the story actually happened. And when they said Dynasty Warriors 9 was going to be open world, I was like, oh, sweet, Dragon Quest Heroes 2 did it so well. They must be doing something very similar. And then they were like, no, it's actually completely open. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, because that probably would have been better if it was like I guess I just finished Arceus as well today, and it's when you first thought we saw Arceus, we thinking like, okay, it's gonna be a whole open world, like, but it's only like it's like Monster Hunter, like your 5 specific biomes. Like if Dynasty Warriors instead did that, where it was like these are your 5 specific biomes to get some material, do some extra stuff, fight some extra little monsters, and then when you do a battle, you have your standard square, I like to call them.
Yeah.
And you can fight it out.
I will say the DLC stories in Dynasty Warriors 9 are probably the best that game gets, because like one of the biggest things that I hated about the open world was like you would be doing the retreat of Changban on Shu's side. So you'd have Zhang Fei over on the map over here fighting at the bridge, but like Liu Bei is over here on the map, like the open world map, like trying to run away from Cao Cao. And it's like, well, they shouldn't be that far apart if it's the Battle of Changban. Like they should be in Changban, like all around the same area. And maybe you have some side quests in that area. But for some reason in the base game, they were like, oh, we want you to go all over the place right away.
Yeah. It's also just too big of a map.
Yeah.
Like, it's like a 101 creation of China. Like, they're like, we're going to make it's so.
Yeah.
But if you go and play the DLC stories, like the hypothetical stories.
Yeah.
The quest line for the main story is literally like, you go here, you go here, you go here, you go here for the final battle.
Mm.
And it's like, it's all in the same area. It's very, methodical in the way that you could go about doing the side quests and then the main quest, or you could just go straight do the main quest, or you can do them in like here, and here. Like, it's just so much better. It's like, if you decide to play Dynasty Warriors 9 to give it a try, you should at least play one of the hypothetical DLC stories.
You know,
that's you, Sandy.
That's what I should. That's what
that's you. I have like 110 hours in that game. That's all you, son.
Bro, I have it on PC, and I stared at it like when I first like got my PC back, because for some reason only Neptunia 1 was downloaded on my computer and on Steam, and I was like, I'm gonna play Dynasty Warriors 9. It's probably like I've upgraded my computer. I can probably run it. It's probably been patched to like smithereens now. I could probably run it, and still was like, nah.
I think there's just multiple issues with like Dynasty Warriors 9. I mean, the story and the way it's presented, it's like, what happened? Like 8 and 7 were presented in such a way. It's like, I don't understand why you guys couldn't.
They went too RPG with it. And I think that's where the issue is. Because when you go into it, you're expecting a Dynasty Warriors game. And when you're told it's an open world Dynasty Warriors game, you would think, oh, well, you know, there's still going to be large armies,
large armies,
winding maps, and you're going to be able to like go off and have a side battle here and a side battle there. But you're also going to have those really emotional cutscenes and everything. But those emotional cutscenes aren't there. Like, there's only like a dozen cutscenes in the whole game, with the exception of every character's ending, which I don't know why they went back to character-specific stories when everybody's story for one dynasty is literally the same.
We all
maybe
die.
like one or two side quests are different.
We're all gonna die.
But Koei did say like Dynasty Warriors 10 is not going to be open world, but they want to explore an open world Three Kingdoms game in its own franchise. So they're going to like
splinter off.
We're in the best timeline here.
Okay.
So they're going to bring Dynasty Warriors back to its roots, and then try to take the ideas that they had with Dynasty Warriors 9 and
Kessen 5 is coming back, and it's going to be an open world.
Bladestorm, baby!
Bladestorm's back. Let's go.
Bladestorm 3. You know what would be kind of interesting is like the Shadow of Mordor sort of design philosophy with their like nemesis system with warriors. That'd be kind of cool,
yeah.
Right? Wouldn't it? Something like that, Sandy? Say yes? Sandy?
Oh, I think
No, you broke my mind a little bit.
Wouldn't that be kind of cool?
Like it just came into like picture. I'm like, yeah, you're right. That's what Dynasty Warriors 9 Empire should have been.
Yeah. Or Dynasty Warriors 10.
There is there's a project in the works right now between Team Ninja is working on a Three Kingdoms game. So like the team behind Neo,
I did see
is
that.
working on a Three Kingdoms game.
Yeah,
and this might be the project that they were saying that they're going to try to like take the ideas from Dynasty Warriors 9 and really flesh them out, but make it its own thing separate from Dynasty Warriors.
Because playing Neo 2, I did get the impression that it felt more like a Souls Warriors game. Like it was very like the combat's very cartoonish for like, oh shit,
there's a feel.
Yeah, there's a very distinct, like you can tell like especially like they have this big Odachi and you can like wield it. You're like, oh, that's a Warriors moveset right there. Like even like when you upgrade it, you get like the square like triangle movesets on there, and you're like, hold on now.
I love Neo.
And then anything like Final Fantasy, like the Final Fantasy game they're making, I'm pretty sure that's just going to be Neo 3. So, and if that's if that's going to be open, like a full one connected world, because that's the ugliest part about Neo is that they're all like got to click a level. I can see it. I would dig it. I like it.
Yeah, if that's going to be carrying over a lot of the stuff that Dynasty Warriors 9 had, like. I'll be the first to admit, Dynasty Warriors 9 was filled with potential. It just didn't stick the landing at all.
The 15 minutes I played before it crashed
that's 9
was good.
there's what, like 16 Warriors games? when you include like XL, the Extreme Legends?
I counted them because I literally have at least one port of every single Warriors game that has ever come out in North America. And I counted them, and including Extreme Legends and Empires and like special versions like Dynasty Warriors 6 on PS2, because it's technically an expanded version. So Samurai Warriors 5 is, if my numbers are correct, Samurai Warriors 5 is the 70th Warriors game.
Jesus.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I meant Dynasty Warriors, but that's still, just Dynasty Warriors.
70.
Damn, but
since 2001, suppose it was the first
2000.
Oh my god. And
technically Dynasty Warriors 1 is not a Dynasty Warriors game.
Yeah. Oh my god. 70?
But that's if you consider like
Persona
Extreme
5
Legends, like for Dynasty Warriors 4, you would be like, well, there's Dynasty Warriors 4, 4 Extreme Legends, 4 Empires, 4 Hyper.
Yeah, and then you got to include Dynasty Warriors.
Orochi 3, there would
2.
be Orochi 3, Orochi 3 Special, 3 Hyper, 3 Ultimate.
Jeez. Koei Tecmo. Honestly, I understand people now, bro. There's a lot of strains out there.
Yeah.
We got that Z, got that U, we got that what you want.
This is why a lot of people will just wait until the expansion comes out, and I think Koei knows that now, and they're just like, no, we're going to be like, here's like a season pass instead.
That's gross. Ugh. That's ugly. I don't like that. That's how it has to be, though, I guess.
I would rather that comparatively to me buying a whole nother game.
Dynasty Warriors 9, do you know how much DLC that bitch has?
$67. They actually, I was looking at it before we started. So they have a full complete edition with all the DLC and the base game for like $67 on sale right now or something like that.
God damn.
I mean, like if you consider how many additional stories you get, how many additional weapons, additional costumes, and that sort of stuff,
it's a good deal. It's a complete game.
$60 is pretty worth it. It might not be worth it to us because it's not the greatest Warriors game in the world, but
like that's the price it is now after 4 years that it's been out. 5 years? How long has it been out?
3.
It's been out for a while, but like that's a problem with the whole industry, especially in Japan. Japanese companies just don't drop their prices digitally anymore because it's like, well,
you're gonna buy it.
We don't need to get this off of the shelves anymore. We don't have a stock issue.
Yeah, there's no physical, like, the materials to produce anything. Like, there's no overhead for that or anything. Yeah, that makes sense.
The only reason why Nintendo games stay the same price, even physical, is because they know they can sell it.
That's crazy to think about because I saw Breath of the Wild on sale today for $35. I was like, wow, that's like the lowest I've ever seen it.
Yeah.
And it'll be right back to $60 tomorrow.
Where was it on sale? On the store?
It was like a GameStop daily deal. Like that and like a couple other Switch games was on sale. But
yeah, because retailers can cut the price, right? After some... But like, yeah, Nintendo itself won't...
Yeah, they're not about to do that.
Won't do that shit, yeah. And niggas
they'll be like, hey, here's $5 off. But only if you also buy the season pass that's like $50.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I think that's all the questions. So we kind of, some of these are a little redundant with what we were talking about, but I wanted to write them down anyways. Damn. Yeah, so
it's official, man. Where the Koei cast?
I do want to thank you, Chris, because like I was telling my girlfriend, I was like, oh, we're getting Chris Gildart on the podcast, babe. It's a huge deal. She's like, well, why? I'm like, let me show you. come with me on this journey, And she's like, oh, well, yeah, you like Warriors games, and oh, yes, 5,000 like subscribers, and you guys have like 12. So I was like, of course it's a big deal. I'm like, well, don't put it like that, babe. But anyways, yeah.
You're like showing her the phone. You're like, look.
I'm like, yeah, look, see, these are pros and cons. Remember, like you're always asking me because she actually is a she's like a casual fan of the Warriors games. She'll play with me. She doesn't like really know as much as we do when it comes to like names and all that. And but she's like, oh yeah, she'll jump in. They're accessible,
Yeah.
And yeah, so she watched a couple with me, and she's like, oh yeah, these are great, Bros. Guns. It's great. It's good stuff for sure. But yeah, thanks, man, for joining us. Where can people find you if they really wanted to look at your? Well, I've already said where they could find you. But go ahead, make your plug, I guess.
Well, you can find me on youtube.com/Chris Gildart. I also have a gameplay channel where I post Warriors gameplay, graphics comparisons, all of my live stream videos on demand are on there called Gildart Gameplay. You can also support the channel through Patreon. We call them the Guild because Gildart. You can join the guild only Discord for just $1 a month, and that goes towards like just upgrading things, like getting a better camera, getting a better capture device. Next big thing I'm aiming at is a PS5. But yeah, you can check out the pros versus cons reviews, like Bandez was talking about. I do comparisons between games, discussion videos. So yeah, it's just
He's the go-to guy, man. If you need any, as soon as you type in Warriors review, it's our guy.
That's good. That's really good. Sandy, they already know where they could find you.
But don't find me. That's what I'm about to tell y'all. Don't find me.
This is like the first episode in a while where you haven't worn like a beanie or a hat.
My hair has actually gotten to the point. You can see from the singular dread on my head. It's gotten too thick for hats now. It's gone.
What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna find bigger hats.
You're gonna have like the Pharrell hat with like the massive like.
Listen, I had to take this off because we have a guest. Okay, so y'all are gonna see this only because we have a guest. But next episode, it's gonna be a hat on some way or another. We're gonna figure it out.
Well,
we made a TikTok, by the way.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So if you're on the TikTokers, come look at us. We got highlights on there. So if you don't want to watch the full video, you could just watch our TikTok and watch the funny bits, and then be like, okay, cool, and then keep it going. So that's all. Or on Instagram. I think we plugged the Instagram. We plugged the Instagram.
Yeah, we're on Instagram as well. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, Twitter. I guess we don't have our own Twitter, our own Back of the Rack Twitter, but we're both on there promoting Back of the Rack. Chris, hopefully if we ever do another Warriors game or maybe some Koei game, we'd love to have you back on. Maybe we'll be bigger. Maybe this will be more worth your while. Though me and Sandy were making a joke because Sandy was like, "Man, we didn't get any black." Sandy was like, "We didn't get any black YouTubers or content creators?"
No, black games. We ain't playing no black game February, bro.
Oh, I thought it was. Oh, I thought you meant that we didn't get any a black guest. Like, we didn't get any black guests this time.
We gotta cut this out.
No, we're gonna.
No, you got the whitest guest that you could ever get.
No, I was saying, because we're also recording another episode with Sean Johnson about a PlayStation 1 game, and I was like, how the hell we get we got two white people not from America on Black History Month? How the hell this work? Because he's in Ireland. We're like, what the fuck, bro?
And you got me. My
Canadian
ring light is on the warmest setting.
I'm trying, guys. I tried to look darker for this episode. I made a joke though. I was like, yeah, well, Chris and Sean are aware that it's Black History Month and they want to get their plug in and support black content creators. So he's gonna come on here.
Man,
it's gonna be good PR for you.
That's what they need to do. They need to make a Warrior spinoff about like African shit. Like I need like a dude with like
African
a tiger
warriors?
on his side, like a little kid with a big ass afro, and he like rides a tiger, and that's his moveset, like Midna, or like I need Yatsuke to just be in there again. I don't know why. Just have him there. I was
so happy when Yasuke got announced for Samurai Warriors 5.
Until I saw his
And then I was
moveset.
so disappointed when I played through the story, and it was like, oh, he's just here.
For like 2 levels, and it's like, okay. His moveset's just Knuckles. It's like, all right, we get it. Knuckles.
Yeah, took out other characters for this guy.
Yeah.
They took out Ranmaru, Nobunaga's little fuckboy.
Listen, if they put Ranmaru in the game, listen, I've seen what the internet can do. Ranmaru would have been crazy, bro. Because he's already in like this game. You see him and you're like, all right, bro. I keep forgetting that you're a dude because he sounds like a girl, looks like a girl. And even like, was it Mogochika where he's like, yeah, pretty lady, and Ranmaru's like, I'm a dude. What are you talking about? Yeah, he would have wore like a mini skirt. He would have had boobs. It would have been crazy, man.
These aren't boobs. These aren't boobs. I'm a man.
These are my chest.
I love his moveset though. He's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, he's got a great moveset.
Yeah, SW for sure. But thank you guys for joining us. We love y'all. Sean, you're probably watching this. You're next.
Fuck
buddy.
you.
Actually, no. By the time, yeah, there you go. Fuck you.
Yeah, because by the time this episode comes, because this is coming out in Musou May.
Yeah, it's gonna come out right alongside. Chris, you'll have to let us know a good time for us to release it. We usually will release like in the middle of the month. But I don't
anytime.
know,
Anytime in May is like, as soon as it's May, midnight on May 1st, it's Musou May.
Put on my Musou jammies. Wake up and eat
my Musou socks.
My Zaoyuos. Wake up with my Guan Yu toothbrush. It's just a giant halibut. Just, yeah, man.
All right, well, I guess everybody say bye or something. I don't know. How do we close this thing?
We never close it out. We always just say, get the fuck out of here or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's... Well, you usually call out some random audience member. You're usually like, hey, you Anthony, fuck you or something.
Anthony's gotten his share. Okay, so we'll do...
He has.
We'll do Cedric. That's probably a Cedric. Cedric. Yeah, I know you. You've been going back in time. I know. This is for the future. You caught us in the future, but like we're on like season 5, and you was like, I'm gonna just go back and watch season 2. I didn't know they did with the Warriors Orochi. I see what you're doing, Cedric. I like it. Thanks, man.
Thanks.
I appreciate you.
Maybe by season 5 we'll have a Patreon. So be a patron, Cedric.
This is for you, Cedric.
All right.
Shouts out to my patron, Cedric.
Guys, it's been great. Thank you again, Chris. Really
Thank you.
Appreciate you taking the time, man. Sandy, I'll obviously be talking to you, and Chris, we'll keep in touch, man.
Oh,
Sounds good. Yeah.
Should I stop recording?
If you ever want us for anything, I don't know what you would use us for, but we'll. I really don't know.
You, bro.
Yeah. Well, hey.